G.W. Bush pardoned the former Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger too. After Vietnam, you would have thought that laws would have been made, preventing us from attacking countries without declaring war. Congress has the authority to declare war, levy taxes, and passing any law they wish. They can also arrest anyone who breaks those laws, but the rights of the states and the individual are supposed to limit those powers. Congress can also create charters, giving government entities the same unlimited powers that they have. They did it with organizations like the Tennessee Valley Authority. This organization regulates our energy and has the authority to set prices without review. Problems concerning immigration can be seen today because of these powers. That is saying nothing about what our government did concerning Indian affairs. Associate Justice William Rehnquist stated, "The idea of limited federal powers is one of the greatest fictions of our federalist system. A fiction that needs to be dismissed and the truth needs to be revealed. It's time for us all to wake up." Did you ever wonder about the consequences though? If everything that was a secret in our past would have been told? What if all those secrets came to light, as they happened? If just after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, information about Operation Paperclip came out? How would John J. McCloy, being on the Warren Commission, affect the people in our country? What if information showed that Shakespeare was Francis Bacon, or the university wits? How would that have affected education and the world of literature? Media is very important when it comes to social change, and literature was the main source of media for quite some time. Where there is now the internet and television, once there were pamphlets and books instead. What if every playhouse and theater in London were shut down, never to open again? Shakespeare could have inspired Milton and John Locke. What if information about the transfer agreement between the Jews and Germany were discovered after the Second World War? Before Erwin Black researched and discovered his findings? What would have changed, and would our opinions have changed also? What if it was known that Gerald Ford and IBM supported the Nazis? Would there have been protests and violence? Times were different and Americans were blinded by false patriotism, which is today the cause of our government being so subverted. So much, that we cannot even say if it was done by outside forces or from within. We do not know if it was done by the media, government, our citizens, Cuba, or the Soviet Union. Our morals and values have become stagnant, and the people are tired of the lies that we are given. We have come to a point in history where enough is enough, and the corruption, secrecy, and lies must end. It is hard to believe in our leaders when these leaders are stuck in the same dogma that has plagued our country for years. Whether you need a 6-cylinder car or not, buy it and hurry up. Have you ever heard of the media saying consume less? Hurry up and save. There is a sale going on, so save by buying more. Some people are tall and stupid, and some are short, bald, and clever. If the Sahara Desert became a communist state, there would be a shortage of sand. A lot of people say that the internet is too personal. Let us disagree with that opinion for a moment. The internet is as impersonal as it could be, to the point where we can get online and become self-delusional, blurting out thoughts concerning our lack of faith, government, religion, and society itself. If anyone criticizes, we can smite them with the power of the internet and cast them into the fires of Hades. Blasphemous malcontents, how dare they? Do they not know who we are? We are the great and might rulers of our domain, and our addresses are unlisted, so let the wars begin. We wish to be malicious, but please no midnight visits to kick our glorious behinds, overtaking our self-proclaimed empires of nothingness. If these fantasies that we personify are not met, we continue on to our Facebook games. We are the kings of our kingdoms, and landowners of our cyber world realities there. We farm our lands and buy the water for our crops, which we constantly monitor, of course. Invasions and raids which take hours to perform, so hurry up and wait. Checking in with our clans, to let them know that we still play. Hopefully, if we are skilled enough, we can become leaders of a mighty order. The responsibilities so grand and time quickly passes, until the realization of our utter nonsense is clear. Friends are gained though, but we find that our friends are only people on the other side of a monitor. Some may have a picture, but many don't. Some have pictures that are new, and others need to be updated. Avatars have become familiar, and they say this is a personal experience. We love our new digital world, but we honestly don't keep it real. We no longer stand up, go outside, or even take time to breathe the morning air. In the meantime, your children go to school and their free lunches are served, but the teachers are turned into slaves. The government has turned the children into a commodity on Wall Street, and our rights are being taken away. Politicians who sold out their causes take money from the rich, who dictate what laws are to be, without a vote from the people they serve. Living under the disguise of charity and profiting with lies. Citizens asking who these people are and why their doors are always closed. Living in a country that has a government that tells us we are free, but we are too ignorant to govern ourselves. From what can be seen, this may be true. We play follow the leader, and stay silent to keep our comforts. The ghettos have housing authorities, and the rich have housing committees, and both sides have to lock their doors. We hide ourselves from expression, because we serve our masters well. Allowing the ignorance of many to become the fruits of the few. The poor and the meek become the salvation of the rich and powerful, through tax deductions. The reasoning is ineffective to tyranny because elections are affected, and education presents the truth to do that. Instead of educating ourselves, we look at polls and surveys presented by the media. Work hard and be comfortable, become a part of the community, but don't get involved. Get involved if you must, but don't figure out how free you really are. Safety and protection affected the upright feeling of being vain, greedy, and full of hate. Being catered to while calling it faith and morality instead. Speak our language and learn our ways, because intolerance will not be tolerated. Marketed, categorized, publicized, and censored, we are watching. We will beat in with political correctness, and then convict you without sovereignty. Laws are created for the few, not for the many, and behind closed doors now.
Since the recent rejuvenation of intuition research within the management literature, significant work has been done on conceptualizing intuition. Whilst remarkable progress has been achieved in many areas of intuition, the role of intuition in creativity remains comparatively under-researched. Through an extensive review of intuition literature, we believe that a reason for this could be that intuition in the management literature is generally conceptualized as judgment. We aim to extend our understanding of intuition in creativity by distinguishing between intuitive judgment and intuitive insight, on literature-based features of intuition, and the conceptual model of knowledge types, distinction of focal and subsidiary awareness. These considerations lead us to propose that there are two distinct kinds of intuition, intuitive judgment and intuitive insight, introducing the distinction between intuitive insight and intuitive judgment. The significance of distinguishing between these two concepts is that it provides us with a better understanding of the role of intuition in creativity, which is the least understood and researched area of intuition in management research. Therefore, our findings help elucidate a better understanding of creativity, and thus extend our knowledge of intuition. Moreover, this is potentially valuable to knowledge-oriented organizations who place considerable emphasis on creativity, not only in the area of R&D, but also in a wide variety of business functions. In order to fully understand the rationale presented, relevant literature is examined. Literature beyond management research about the use of intuition in creativity, philosophy, psychology, amongst others, for helpful supplementary models. One suggests that intuition lies at the heart of a number of dual process theories of cognition. These dual process theories came about since cognition appeared to be difficult to understand as a unitary construct. There are many variants of the dual process theories, each with slightly different versions of duality. The roots of this duality can be traced back to Socrates, Plato and Aristotle in the Western world. The first well-known one from the modern era is Freud's in 1900 distinction of primary and secondary mental operations, to finally propose the dualism of sequential versus multiple processing. Some more recent dualist conceptions include the extensional versus intuitive reason, controlled versus intuitive mode of cognitive function, and reasoning versus intuition, rational versus experimental, which is later referred to as analytical rational versus intuitive experimental. Without trying to list all the different versions of the dual process theories, a review of models can be found. We indicate that they always distinguish between a process that comes close to intuiting and another which we can best describe as non-intuitive, regardless of which version of the dual process theories one accepts. The duality of intuitive and non-intuitive processing seems to have been widely recognized. The importance of this duality for management, apart from good logical analysis, intuition, is nowhere more indispensable than in executive arts. Research on intuition became increasingly popular in the last 2 decades in the management literature and in the academic world more generally. We see 2 reasons for this. 1. Intuition is the perhaps least understood aspect of managerial cognition. Without understanding intuition, it is impossible to develop any meaningful conceptualization of cognition. Intuition is the very raison d'etre of the problem of cognition. Thus, the only consistent way of avoiding the problem of intuition would be to deny it completely, which would, in turn, mean denying the problem and the phenomenon of consciousness itself. Examining the conceptualization of knowledge, sleeping monster, which, once awakened, may destroy our view of knowledge altogether. However, we believe that if it is destructive trying to understand intuition, then destruction is needed, as our view of knowledge and consciousness cannot be meaningful unless it accounts for intuition as well. We propose a provisional distinction of 2 types of intuition, which we call intuitive judgment and intuitive insight. This distinction helps us in developing a better understanding of creative intuition, which is perhaps the least understood of the various types of intuition.